Hello, this is Paula from Emotional Support for All. To be honest, this is a little bit of a rant, and it's just so frustrating. So, trying to be really careful about not naming places, and because this is only my opinion, but this is things that I have noticed. So, for example, wherever you live, you will have a local, we call them local environmental tip. It is where you can take your household waste, rubbish, wood, glass, um, general metal, paint, fridge freezers, and so on. So when you no longer want them, you can take them there. I think it's covered by a council tax. So it is free. You don't, you just go. Anyway, normally what you do find is that this building premises are very helpful. They will tell you where you need to put each, for example, if it's wood, if it's household waste, recycling, etc. Ours, on my own personal experience, does not tend to be very helpful. Fair enough. I have seen on occasions when we've gone where they have told people who have gone with mattresses from your beds, where you have to then get the metal springs out of it and then you can disregard the rest in the waste. Well, again, people just want to go and take the rubbish and put it in the big skips and leave. I'm not sure many people will have the patience to sit and obviously hack that out of a mattress. So what happens as a result? We then get fly tipping, don't we? Where we live, it has got absolutely horrendous. Noticed it a lot more in the last year. Even household waste that obviously people are not being able to put in their bins, they are now putting it on the side of the streets where you have bins out as well. So you've got anyway, to cut a long story short, took my dog for a walk this morning, driving back, past a council worker emptying the bins on the street. Literally turned the corner from where he'd just been, and obviously he's emptied this bin, and they are 4 bags of bin liners full of obviously rubbish. So, yes, that is not people walking down the street, is it? And then putting it in the dustbin. They're obviously somebody's waste that they've not been able to get rid of. Or they might be downright lazy and they have just thought, well, my bin's full and I'm not taking it tip, so I'll just put it here. I get that. But obviously, there's an ongoing issue here, then, isn't there? Because obviously, they haven't collected this waste. So I get it. They're probably like, well, that. So, but who is going to then take this rubbish? Because what happens is either kids are going to kick this rubbish and it'll end up all over the streets, or a dog will rip it open, or a wild animal will rip it open. And it's a vicious circle, isn't it? So, when is this rubbish then going to be collected? When it's gone all over the road, or there's glass in these bottles and it's pierced someone's tyre when they've gone past on the car. And I think the issue is, and it needs to, and yes, I'm probably ranting on here, why don't I go to the council? Yeah, take your point, granted. But the point is, I do think if the local environmental tip was a little bit more approachable, maybe people would then take their rubbish there. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've been there and I have been checked when I've said it is household waste. Where do you want me to put it? And they either put it in a container that they will then go through. Fair enough. I wouldn't want that job. Um, or they'll say, you can't bring it here because it's mixed, or there are cat litter in it, or whatever. And I get it. I probably don't know a lot about it. And they might have policies and procedures and safety and all those procedures that I don't know about. Maybe I am being a bit naive and a little bit irresponsible having a rant before you even know anything. Again, that's my bad. I perhaps could challenge them and say, why is it that you refuse items when people bring them to the tip? Why is it that you're going through people's rubbish? Why is it that you're telling people to take things out of this rubbish and before you put it here, you've got to strip it down, you know? But it's that bigger picture, isn't it? You know, why haven't councillors and things thought, why is all this rubbish now being left on the streets? Because they're not taking it to the tip. It's just something to think about, isn't it? And don't get me wrong, you know, this rant has been going on for me for quite a while, and I have spoke to people and they've said, "Wow, our local environmental tip are really helpful." Um, they would never dream of saying, "Strip this mattress down. You can't bring this mattress here. The skips are full." But we get it where we live, so you know, why aren't people thinking about this? It's beyond me. And again, it's that vicious circle, isn't it? Because yes, people's put them on the street then near the dustbin, and they haven't been collected. So who's going to get rid of this rubbish? You know, it's baffling to me, really is. Anyway, thank you for listening to my rant. Rant over. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.